So this is my intro showing the finished product. The metal muffin fan based cooling apparatus built from a cardboard box. You can use a shoe box, you can use anything, but I highly suggest the metal muffin fan. You can hear it's really quiet. It's really efficient and it's pulling a lot of air through my little tray. You can use any kind of tray. I want to point out too that, if you want to cool other things, if you want to cool muffins, if you cook some muffins and you want to cool them, it seems really appropriate to use the metal muffin fan for that. Or just you need some cooling at your desk at work. It'll work great. So here's how I made this. Not like you really need an instructional video, and not like YouTube doesn't have enough great instructional videos about everything, but we'll do it anyway, because Sweet Maria's is now becoming the DIY center for ideas for roasting cooling. I think now this is our third video with ideas of how you build your own home roast cooler. I don't think any of this is really necessary, but hey, it's DIY, so it's good. Hey, it's Tom at Sweet Maria's, and it's early morning, and I'm in our workspace next to our warehouse, and I'm gonna do a little project that's sort of already been done by many people, but also Dan at Sweet Maria's made a little cooling box, and recently we had the opportunity to buy a pre-made retail cooling box for cooling coffee after roasting, and it worked out to be like $100, and I was like, we can do better than this. And I think most people with some simple tools could make something equally as efficient for $30, $25. So the improvement on what Dan's already done, and we have a link to that video here, is this, really, the metal muffin fan. So this is something that I just had picked up online, and it's really cool. It's a very compact, small fan that would, sort of like an oversized computer housing fan or something, industrial fan that's encased. And in this case, what's cool is it's just plug-in AC. The kit comes with the screws for it. It comes with the covers if you want them. And these holes allow you to mount it either by running a bolt or screw all the way through, or just in one side. So to do this, we need a box and we need a tray. And Dan did it with a postal box, and this is pretty hokey to use a cardboard, but what the heck? I want to see how easily and cheaply we can do it. I also have this bin that was from IKEA with a lid that actually doesn't go with it, but it's also from IKEA. I think this is some 99 cent or $1.99. Now I happen to have an extra tray from a Quest roaster. We're actually ordering extra trays like this, but this is not necessary. In fact, it may not even be the perfect thing, and I'll tell you why. But the cool thing is the handles, it's going to drop down. It's perforated only on the bottom, which is actually good. The only thing about cooling a roast, which a commercial roaster would know from their tray, is that it makes total sense when you think about it. If you have coffee in a tray and you have, holes, and your coffee is sort of, spread out so that there's an area, let's say here, that's got no coffee, and then the coffee's here. Well, your fan that's going to be pulling air through there, it's going to be sucking the air through, is going to be pulling it from where there's the least resistance, which is where there's no coffee. So you kind of need to match the colander, whatever you're going to use for a cooling, with the batch size you have, ideally without having open space, you know. So you want enough batch that would cover the bottom of this. That's all I'm saying in so many words. So, you know, there's many colanders from thrift stores, from, you know, your local big box store, whatever, and you're just going to be cutting out something that fits tightly enough so that it's not pulling air around this. And in that way, this isn't ideal, because a lot of colanders will have a lip along the top, which would be kind of cool, to make sure that it's not pulling air around from the side. And the basic idea here is that I'm going to be mounting a fan either on the side here, or let's say on the side here. How am I going to do that, you ask? Well, I've definitely been thinking about that with cardboard, but I think I can just put some wood strips, some sort of lath wood strips on there, and screw onto it with cardboard. All it needs to do is sort of pinch on there, and we'll have a really efficient cooler for coffee. Okay, so we continue the fascinating project. Fascinating, as you can tell, on the warehouse floor. And I just realized that I had cut these pieces of wood thinking I was going to just use wood screws and sort of pinch this on either side. I'm going to do the cardboard box for now because I think it's funny to use a cardboard box for something like this. And then I realized that if I mount that, it's going to, one way or other, going to cover up part of the working surface of the fan. So since they're so kind with the metal Muffin fan to give you these nice long screws, I just went and found some big washers that I could put on the inside, and then I'll use their little washers too. That way I can mount their covers as well, keep it safe. So yeah, so I just put this here. I took a long nail and traced through. Those are my little holes. Don't even need a drill. And then I was going to sketch this out and cut my little hole. So here we go. Okay, so there it is. And one thing I noticed on the metal Muffin fan is that it tends to unplug itself here a little at this connection, so I just use a little electric tape. Cardboard box turned into a pretty nice cooler. Very nice. And again, the thing is that it's only pulling from the bottom, which is ideal. So if you have a colander that has holes in the side, you might want to make sure it sinks down so there's not air pulling from around the coffee. And I'm sure there's some better ideas and better ways to do things than this, but it's cheap. It was everything that I had on hand. Any size colander would probably fit in this box, and I'm sure you could make this out of, you know, tongue and groove cornered wood with walnut accents, but this looks like it's going to work. I'm going to go try it out on a couple batches, and see how it works. So one other really obvious thing is that I didn't need all these extra washers and stuff that I brought. What happened is the bolts are quite long and they go through, and then I could simply use the other safety sort of cover. They give you 2 of them, and there's ample room with the bolts on this thin material. I'm sure you could use something much thicker. like your full grain walnut tongue and groove, and use that to pinch it onto the box. So there we go. It's about well, the fan I think was $13. These I happen to have it laying around because this one had a small defect in the welding. But of course, a colander from a thrift store or something else, I'm sure you can find something for $5 or less. And cardboard boxes, priceless.